Welcome everybody to Markup Mondays. Go ahead and drop a 1 inside the chat or inside the message box if you can hear me clearly, if you can see me clearly, if everything is okay, there's no echo. Go ahead and drop a 1 in the chat for me. Can everybody see me and hear me clear? Are we good to go? Welcome to the call. Welcome to Markup Mondays, where we analyze the financial markets, educate the community on trading and investing, and discuss world news and different topics. All right, we are good to go. Thank you, Denver. Appreciate you, brother. We're definitely gonna go over Litecoin tonight because some zones got hit. Welcome to the call, Ebony. Go ahead and drop where you calling in from. What's going on, JB? Oh yeah, Millionaire. Shout out to Elite Clothing, Millionaire, really dope brand. I love the message. Go and check him out it's Millionaire Elite, Millionaire Elite on Instagram. Welcome, Liv. What's going on, Titus? Welcome to the Sniper Gang. Everybody, can everybody please drop flames in the chat for Titus Bates for making it into the Sniper Gang. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. The first thing that I want to get into, I want to weigh in on the Will Smith and Chris Rock situation, and I just want to give my stance. I want to give my stance on it and where I'm at, because I feel very strongly about this situation, right? Hold on. So, when I woke up, I believe it was like here in Africa, I think it was probably like 2 or 3 in the morning. I woke up, I was scrolling Instagram, and I seen all these memes of, Will Smith, all these memes, right? So I really didn't know what was going on. Then I came across a video of Will Smith smacking Chris Rock. Now, when I first seen it, I thought it was a joke. I thought it was staged. I'm like, it's no way this could be real. It looked like it, but I'm like, no, this, that's not real. This didn't happen on, Will Smith didn't do that on, public, on live television. And then, as I continued, people were posting videos, and I continued to see just different angles, and then I started to see different footage. I seen Denzel and Tyler Perry comforting Will Smith after the situation. Then I seen him giving a speech, and he was crying during the speech. I'm like, oh, this was a real situation, right? The police were, the police knew about it and everything. Asked if Chris Rock wanted to press charges. So when I seen this stuff happening, I started thinking deeper into it. Of course, as I'm going through my timeline and I'm seeing all these people make memes, and the first thing that I realized is the lack of empathy that social media has caused a lot of us to have, right? And empathy being able to put yourself in other people's shoes and to feel what another person is feeling, right? Sometimes when you do this, when you have the skill of empathy and you're able to feel what other people feel, sometimes it prevents a lot of feelings from being hurt, boundaries being crossed, right? When you understand that if someone was to do this to you and you try to emulate how that would feel, then you're less likely to do that, to somebody else. And that was something that was not displayed or exercised during Chris Rock's segment, obviously, right? So let's get into Jada Pinkett first, all right? We know Jada Pinkett Smith, she had the situation with August Alsina, but look, we not even about to bring that up. We talking about this situation right here. Jada Smith's hair, she's not wearing that because it's like a style that she wants to wear. Jada Pinkett Smith deals with alopecia, and anybody who knows what alopecia is, it's a skin disease, and it can cause you to lose your hair, right? So what she's doing as far as, shaving her hair and trying to be, proud about it, is I'm pretty sure is masking the insecurity that she actually feels from not having hair like she usually does. And I'm positive that this is something that Will and Jada discuss. And I'm pretty sure it's something that is very sensitive. It's very sensitive to her. All right, now something that I need everybody to understand is that even though these people are stars and we see them in movies, they are real people just like us. They have feelings just like us, right? And so this Jada Pinkett is Will Smith's, this is his wife. This is his wife. Like, I already know, I know Will Smith's mindset. I know he would do anything, right, for this woman. He would die. I know that he would die for this woman. And so love is a very, very powerful emotion, all right? And there's a background with Will Smith, all right? Anybody who knows, if anybody has read his book, if you haven't, check it out. But there's a section in there where he talks about coming up, his father used to beat his mother. And there was a situation he remembers where his mother was getting beaten. He could have did something about it, but he was afraid and he decided not to. And he went in his room and, he let whatever happened happen. And that was a regret, or that is a regret that he lives with. If anybody on this, if you're a human being on this call, you know about regrets, you know about living with regrets. And you know that the pain of having regret sometimes is more painful than a situation that's going on at the moment, right? And so I believe what happened is deeper. It's a lot of things that came into play, but I believe that situation right there, not, regretting not protecting his mother, it was like a time had came where it was time to protect Jada Pinkett Smith, his wife. Because in that moment, she couldn't protect herself. She was going to just brush it off and, laugh at it. But Will Smith was like, no, before he got up, he made the decision before he even got up on stage that he was going to smack Chris Rock. Nothing was going to stop him from doing that, because there are certain lines that should not be crossed. And Chris Rock, unfortunately, he crossed the line because the joke wasn't even rehearsed. He didn't even rehearse it. He kind of said it on the spot. And I don't know if he knows about the alopecia situation. If he does, that's even more messed up. But there was a lack of empathy there. And you can say, well, Will Smith is supposed to be a professional about this and that. If I was in Will Smith's shoes, I would have did the same thing. If I was in Will Smith's shoes and my wife was dealing with something like that and somebody cracked a joke on her in front of the world, there is no other, he probably should have got more than that. Honestly, that's my stance on it. I believe that Chris Rock should have got more than that. And Chris Rock knows he was wrong, because when the LAPD asked if he wanted to press charges, he said no, he dropped it, because he knew that he had messed up. He knew that he was wrong. He knew that he had messed up, right? So, I mean, what do y'all feel? What are y'all thoughts on the Will and Jada Pinkett Smith situation? All right, Brandon said he knew it was a bad joke based off the crowd reaction. Right. Exactly. He knew it was a bad joke. It wasn't rehearsed, right? It wasn't something that, the producers were saying. This isn't even something that he said during the rehearsals. It was kind of off the head joke. He seen her, he said it. But I mean, that's something that I know comedians, they have to have. They have to have a lack of empathy in order to talk about other people and, disregard people's feelings. And it is a lot of situations where, people can be sensitive. But in that situation, when we talking about somebody's wife, that's Will Smith put on display exactly what we're supposed to be doing as black men. That was a moment in history that was made on the side of Chris Rock's face, right? That was a moment in history, a significant moment in history that was made on the side of Chris Rock's face. And it represents what we're supposed to be doing. And then I'm seeing all these single men, right? Niggas who listening to Future, and Future is their role model. You know what I'm saying? Talking about he had a sucker attack, or, he's a simp, or because the whole August Alsina thing. And this is one of the biggest reasons why the family structure in the black community is falling apart. Because we don't have men that stand up and defend the women. We need more of that. What he did was a good example. That was a perfect example of what we should be doing and what we need to be doing, in my opinion. Right, Donald said, damn right, that was classless on Chris Rock, horrible joke. Absolutely. Let me see, Sydney said, Will was laughing first until he looked at Jada. He was gonna have to deal with that at home. He did what he had to do. Right. And you know, Sid, I think it was more than that. See, when you, man, it's different when you love a woman so much that she's your life. And basically, like, with how I feel about Rachel, how I love Rachel, like, she's my life. If anything happens to her, like, my life is over. That's how I see it. I love her that much. I will kill for her. I will die for her. Right. And when it's to that point, love is a very powerful emotion, like I was saying earlier. And this is something that I've discovered recently in life. Lu Zhao has a saying that goes, you know, when you're deeply loved by somebody, it gives you strength. But when you deeply love someone, it gives you courage. Right? Love is something is more powerful than hate, is more powerful than anger, is more powerful than pride. Through love, you can do anything. When it comes to protecting the people that you care about, and you a protector, you can do anything. I know this for a fact. Like, in the face of danger, my life is in danger. If it has to deal with protecting what's behind me, my wife, life don't matter. Just what, you know what I'm saying? Protecting what's behind me and protecting my wife and protecting what I love is what matters. Damon said, I'm with you on that. Just placing time because his reputation is going to take a hit for it. Yeah, with the wrong people, with the people who don't understand. Any married man should understand what Will Smith did. If you single, you really not gonna feel this. If you've never if you've never been in love with a woman, like for real, or had a wife, you not gonna feel that. You know what I'm saying? And you're gonna be looking at his reputation. And we don't care about the reputation when it comes to defending what we love. Christine said, I think Will did the right thing protecting his wife. Right, exactly. How you supposed to feel. That's how it's supposed to be. Exactly. That's how it's supposed to be. But look, that's my stance on the whole, the Will Smith, Chris Rock situation. I don't care about the August Alsina situation. They even, talking about if the roles was flipped. What if the roles was flipped and something happened to Will with Jada had got? I know she wouldn't have. Because that's not her role. That's not what she's supposed to do. Yeah, women are there, to assist us. But when a man can defend himself, that's what he's supposed to do. Jada was in a situation where she really couldn't defend herself. And Will did his job. He did what he was supposed to do. We could talk about the roles being flipped. And, if it was on the other shoe, Jada probably wouldn't have did nothing. That's not her job. It's not her job. All right, so James said, I feel it was staged, Hollywood, no natural reflex or duck. James, I was contemplating that. I was thinking about that. And no, because it's more footage. It's footage that has the actual audio of, Chris Rock. And Will smacked fire. He smacked real fire out of Chris Rock. Like, that was one of those smacks where it was a thud, like it was a thump. He smacked him so hard that it was like it was a thud. That was real. That was real. That was a real situation, man. And like I said, the LAPD was called. Chris Rock chose not to press charges, and they said if he wants to press charges in the future, he can. That's a real situation. Derek Warren said, I'm defending mine by any means necessary. Absolutely. I feel it. I know exactly where you at, and that's exactly where we need to be. All right. Sid said, I don't know. Jada might shoot the spot up. 7100. All right, y'all. So let's go ahead. Let's get into it. That was my little rant on not rant, but my stance. I really felt strongly about that, and I'm seeing all these people talk about, even just seeing black men talking about, he had a sucker attack or that was an emotional move on his part. It's like you can't have loved a woman before. You can't have had a wife. You can't have experienced the feeling of protecting things that you love or somebody that you love, that you would die for. There's obviously, it can't be anything or anyone that you would die for, or a woman that you would die for you to, feel like that about the situation with Will. Any husband out there can relate to Will Smith. Any good husband, I feel. Me said, so Chris Rock made a public apology. Yeah, because he was wrong. He was wrong. B said you could hear the smack through the microphone. Hey, y'all, look at Brandon Jarrell's look at his profile. Look at his profile picture. All right, Liv, let's see. Will stood up for his wife, but I don't think it's appropriate to put your hands on people just because you're embarrassed or feel as if you have to stand up for your wife. Chris Rock is a comedian and most jokes have truth on them. A bad joke, yes, but I think Chris Rock was coming from a hurtful place and he might know about her condition, which is more reason for him to have been smacked. I think it was a bad joke with very bad timing, and Will took the opportunity to defend his wife. So live with that. There are situations in my opinion where it does not take for somebody to put their hands on you for you to put your hands on them. And that was one of those rare situations, because what else was Will Smith to do in that situation where like I said, this is probably something very personal and something hard that they're dealing with within their marriage, within their personal life, at home. In that situation, he's supposed to just sit there and take it, and it's certain boundaries that are crossed when it comes to, your family, that sometimes it don't take for somebody to put their hands on somebody for them to, to justify getting hands put on. Was it right or was it godly? Was it right or was it godly of Will Smith to go smack Chris Rock? Of course not. Was it godly? Right? Was it godly of Will Smith to defend his wife? Absolutely. Absolutely. Sarah, would you have done the same thing? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I would have. All right, y'all, but I'm done. I'm gonna stop weighing in. We got some charts to mark up. Anybody that's tuning in, welcome. This is Markup Mondays. My name is Delonte Brady, Chief Analyst with BPGR Investment Strategist and creator of the Snipers Anonymous Trading Course. The first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna go over the results from last week, and then we're gonna get into the news and we'll get into analyzing charts. All right, so getting into last week, let me go ahead and share my screen. If you're just now tuning into the call, welcome. If you're viewing the recording, feel free to drop comments. I go through the comments and I respond to any questions or comments that you guys have. All the interaction is appreciated. All right, if it's anything that you guys want me to go over, if we have time, I will just go ahead and drop it inside the comments. All right, but right now, let's go ahead and get into last week. What we called for last week. So last week we talked about EU, and personally, all right, we had this buy zone here, we had the sell zone, never made it up to the sell zone, but we did come down and we touched this buy zone. We went past the buy zone, and my personal trade, I was stopped out of that because I had a tight stop loss. I believe it was 30 pips, but if you set your stop loss below this low right here, which was a daily low, depending on where your stop loss was, you got out of that trade, or you got at least, I believe it was about 40 pips. Even if you got in at the top of the zone, you got about a range of 60 pips out of that. You know, I always say take some off the table at 20 pips, but that did come down. I ended up getting stopped out, but it did go in the intended direction. And now we have some new data to go on. All right, so that was last week. And was did you guys see my screen? Let me pull this up again, make sure y'all can see this. Okay, yeah, we good. All right, so that's what we have for last week. Let's go ahead and get into the news, what we have for the upcoming week in the foreign exchange market. If you are actively trading, it is very important to know and understand what the upcoming forecast is, right? What's the forecast for the week with the news as it pertains to the foreign exchange market? A great website to go to check this out. I like to use my FX book. All right, so here we go on my FX book. I have everything filtered. I only have the pound, the Japan yen, the euro, and the United States dollar. You know, that's pretty much all I'm looking at. And then I only have high impact. I killed all the other noise, medium, low impact, just high impact. All right, so what we have for the upcoming week, what's already past the goods trades balance, that happened today at 8:30 this morning. But for the upcoming day, Tuesday, we have a lot of Euro news, red folders, and we have some USD news. So in between 2 o'clock in the morning and 4 o'clock in the morning, we should see some increased volatility. We got retail sales, consumer confidence for EU. And then at 10 o'clock in the morning, we have the JOLTS job opening. All right, and that's red folder. This is, what week is it? What week is it this week, y'all? What's significant about this week in the foreign exchange market? All right, Wednesday, we have inflation rates for the euro at 8 o'clock in the morning. That's going to be big. Inflation rates for the euro at 8 o'clock in the morning is going to be big. And then we have ADP employment change. That's going to be at 8:15. So at 8 o'clock in the morning, we got inflation rate for the euro. And then 15 minutes later, we have employment data coming out. Employment change data coming out for the United States dollar. All right, so Wednesday morning, that's going to be a busy morning. Let me see. Me said NFP. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Student of the game. Live NFP. Yup. NFP week. You already know to expect the unexpected this week. Thursday, it's another heavy news day. It's a lot of red folders on EU. So the London session on Thursday is going to be crazy, leading up to NFP on Friday. I mean, all morning. From 2 o'clock in the morning until pretty much 8:30. You got EU news and United States news. So put a star on Thursday in your calendar if you got one. Thursday is going to be Thursday morning from the London all the way up to the New York. It's going to be very volatile. And then, of course, Friday, you see it. GBP, EU, USD, and then we got non-farm payroll. All right, so let's go ahead and get into analyzing EU. April 1st, yes, it starts out the month with NFP. Right, and I haven't found out how to share music on this platform. I will, trust me. I'm working on it, y'all. I'm working on Markup Mondays. I'm working on improving the experience. Feedback is definitely appreciated. Feedback is appreciated and accepted. I'm all about constructive criticism and getting better. If it's any ways that I can make this experience more enjoyable for you all, more, whatever it is, whatever opinions you have about the show, feel free to inbox me. You can drop it in the comments. You can email us. Any way you're able to contact me, feel free to do that. All right, so this was last week on EU. And the first thing we're going to do is look at the dollar, all right, because I have a directional bias, or I had a directional bias on the dollar right now as far as what it's doing. This is like consolidation, all right, and the issue is we took out this high here. All right, y'all see that? We ran up and we took out this high. And then after we took out this high, we came down and we took out this low. Now, usually with my analysis, a lot of times I determine the direction of the market, or what direction the market makers want to push the market based on what highs and lows have been taken out or swept. In this situation, to me, this is consolidation. The DXY, or the dollar, could go down or it could go up first. But my overall directional bias for the dollar is bullish. All right, so whether it goes up first and continues up, or if we pull back a little more, I do have areas that I see it buying from. First area, or first sensitive area where I see a rejection, is last Tuesday's high. All right, so where this yellow line is. And so what that would mean for UJ or EU, right? Remember, the first quote within a pair determines the direction. All right, so if I'm trading EU, that means if the DXY is going down, then EU should be going up. If the DXY is going up, then EU should be going down, because the euro is the first quote in that pair, and the United States dollar is the last quote, right? So what I'm expecting from EU tonight actually is I'm expecting a sell. So I'm expecting the dollar to come down and reject off of this area. I would like to see a rejection, even if it's not a continuation up. All right. Basically something like this. I'm expecting some type of rejection. Like I said, even if it doesn't continue up, I am expecting some type of rejection. And so that would validate the sell that I see on EU. Overall, bullish on the dollar, so I'm bearish on EU. If we look at the dollar from a higher time frame, we can see that it's been bullish, and the way we've crept up to these highs, it looks like we're about to get a continuation. Pull our fib out. We see our first stop, hypothetically, would be here, right? And I say hypothetically because we're using the fib. These are imaginary lines, but it's amazing how price action lines up with the fib. Second stop would be the 1618, and we'll just leave it there. But this is where I'm expecting the dollar to go, all right, on this extension. Now let's go ahead and look at EU. All right, boom. All right, so the first thing that I want to point out is a mistake that I actually made. I want to publicly admit an analysis mistake that I made with EU. So a lot of you guys who follow me, you know I talk about consolidation zones and how when we revisit consolidation zones, it tends to do the same thing. It'll consolidate like it did before. We came down to a consolidation zone about 4 weeks ago. And even though I seen it, I wasn't looking at the consolidation. I didn't take that into consideration with my analysis, but it's something that I caught over the weekend. And so now I'm applying that to my analysis. So over here we had a consolidation zone. We did break out of the consolidation, but overall this is a zone where we tend to consolidate, and we are back down in that zone. Right now we're sitting at the top of that, that consolidation zone. And so I'm looking for sales based on higher time frame support and resistance. This is higher time frame consolidation or a consolidation zone. And so with us being at the top of that zone, I feel better about a sell. All right, we dropped down to the daily. See, we did clear some highs, but we really starting to taper off. And overall, this is bearish institutional order flow. All right, so we are better off, and we're taking higher probable trades looking for sales because of the higher time frame direction. All right, and as far as where I would sell from, it's actually really close. All right, so where I would sell from, and we do have a swing high on the daily. This being our target, we got some lows over here to attack. But where I would sell from is pretty simple. I would like to sell from in between the price level of 1.10115 and 1.10171. All right, so that's about a 171. It's about a range of 10 pips. All right, but this is the area I would like to sell from. I'm expecting either a reaction or for it to continue selling off. This will be an area that I would put two positions in and divide everything up. One would be I would hold on for the trade a little longer, and then the other one I would just secure my 20 pips. But this is the sell zone that I would like to see EU come up to. Now, if we break above this sell zone and we get up into this area, I will wait. But if we start to creep up past Tuesday's high, then I have to start looking at this high up here. And then that's when I'll switch my bias and I'll become a buyer. All right, if we break back above Tuesday's high, I'll switch into a buyer, and I'll be looking for swing lows to be forming on the daily. And I'll probably look for, I'll be looking for buy scenarios for sure. But that's pretty much it for EU. As far as a buy, because we are in bearish institutional order flow, and I would consider a buy being counter trend trading, this would be the area that I would buy from if it came down to it. But it would be a reactionary buy. All right, it would be a reactionary buy. So reaction buy down here at these lows. Because that's Tuesday's low, so I believe it's going to be a sensitive area, and more than likely we'll get a reaction from there, even if it does continue down. All right, remember, we focusing on reactions with this strategy. So, and that is really close to a high figure level, but that's in between the price level of like 1.09622 and 1.09581. All right, so I'll leave this up for a couple seconds. Everybody get a visual on this. Go ahead and delete this. And that's what we got for EU, right? Everybody knows what this is, liquidity. I talk about that all the time. We have some imbalance to fill over here to the left. This just looks like a nice reaction setup. I feel good about this one. All right, let's see what else you guys got for me. Let's go ahead and look at Litecoin. We marked up Litecoin because the cryptocurrency market is actually moving a little bit. Let's look at the price of Bitcoin. It's really starting to show signs of bullishness. All right, we've broken above, this is a major level that we've broken above. If Bitcoin holds, if it holds above 45, then the next stop I'm expecting is 51. All right, right up here above this liquidity. Which we've already closed 2 days. Been trading over 45,000 for 2 days now. And so yeah, this is the next area I expected for price to deliver. Getting back up to 52,000. Let's look at what we have for Litecoin. All right, so pretty much played off the zones almost perfectly. I believe it was last week that I was saying I believe the buy had already happened, and that, you know, targeting this high, and that's what happened. The buy had already happened. We took off and we cleared some liquidity. Came up into the sell zone, or the expected sell zone, and now Litecoin is starting to pull back. And I believe the pullback may be over. It may be over, but if not, let's drop down to the 15-minute and see what's going on. Let's follow market structure, right? Now that Litecoin is starting to break down, Denver, and we're within a higher time frame sell zone, we actually have lower time frame structure forming. We have our highest point, we have a lower high, we have a lower low, another lower high, and another lower low. And so because the market tends to repeat itself, and it looks like Litecoin is pulling back almost 100%, but I would say in between that 79%, 70% of the fib. If you're trading Litecoin, that would be a possible area, to sell from. It's hypothetically speaking too. Hypothetically speaking, you should be using a demo. I am not showing you this so you can make money. I am not a financial advisor. Yeah, we got more imbalance to fill here, it looks like. So yeah, I'm expecting Litecoin to sell off a little more, retrace deep, and probably sell off again. As far as where I see it buying from, let's go with that level. That would be the next area I would expect a reaction. But I believe we pretty much above the buy zone though. Like this whole area, if you're investing in it long term. All right. Let's look at GU. Let's look what happened last week with GU. Right, so remember last week we had that imbalance sell. It came right up in the zone and took off. This thing dropped for 230 pips. We came up, cleared the liquidity, came into the imbalance. We already had bearish institutional order flow. And if anybody remembers, on last week's call, I said anytime we have an inverted head and shoulders being formed within bearish institutional order flow, I had told y'all to write that down. Like, write this down as a note. When you see this happening, and it happens a lot, when you see head and shoulders, and this is an inverted head and shoulders, forming within bearish institutional order flow, then more than likely it's setting up to fail, and they're targeting the head. All right, so everybody who's buying this is about to get taken out. Did a nice pullback, and now we about to extend, below. All right, let's go ahead and go over Let's go over gold, and then Ed wants to look at oil and GU. Oh, okay. If you want to look at GU, let's go more in depth. Of course, based on what's going on from the higher time frame, I'm bearish on GU, just like I'm bearish on EU. At first glance, this looks like the obvious sell area from the 4 hour, right? Without going into too much debt. If we were to measure structure, we have our high here. We have our low here. We have our lower high, and then we have what seems to be the lower low. And so we will want to get in on a pullback, right? And so what area of the fib is this, or would that be? So the sell zone lines up. We got some confluence there in between the 50% and the 618. We have that, you know, that institutional level there. Let's see what institutional level is in that area. All right, so we got a half figure on top of an institutional candle, on top of market structure, on top of the fib. So this looks like this is a high confluence sell zone to me. Let's go ahead and mark this up. 4 hour sell zone. And we got a lot of imbalance to fill as well. And let me clean this up too. Make this a clean chart. All right, we know that this is where we're coming from, so we got a point of reference and evidence and justification for our current trade setup and what we want to see. Let's drop down to the hour. Still look the same. And to the 15-minute. All right, boom. Of course, more than likely, we're going to see some resistance before we get up to this point. Or it could even, GU could sell off from this point. GU moves like that sometimes. But for me to be comfortable, I would like to see, you know, this imbalance get filled and this sell zone to get entered. Let's see, we got a sell, boom, dagger. Yeah, I think this is going to be a sensitive area up here, Ed, on GU. Not looking for any buy opportunities on GU. Yep, that's what I got for GU, Ed. As far as oil, let's go check that out. I think that's one of my bench pairs. What's going on with oil? I haven't looked at it in about a week. All right, so we got some sell zones, mitigation, and we are currently down in a buy zone. All right, stop buying, stop loss. So, all right, so what I have for oil, same markup that I've had for a couple weeks. This is the point where I would stop buying oil. This is where I would see it going bearish because now we're coming for some lows and some liquidity and possibly another opportunity to get in for buys on oil. Right now, oil is bearish. Oil is bearish in my opinion. It's starting to retrace. It's a lot of momentum coming down, a lot of structure being broken, highs not being met, right? We have our highest point. We had this strong drop, and then we just been breaking structure, showing weakness. So oil is in a strange spot because even though overall is bullish, I believe currently we're, you know, in the midst of a pullback. So as far as trading goes, it's looking like sales, you know, from the lower time frames. So it looks like this low is going to be the next one that we come after. And then US oil. Yeah, I see selling opportunities, Ed. We're within a buying zone right now, but I believe this is about to turn into a mitigation area. And from the looks of it, from the momentum and the price action, It looks like we're coming down, and then we have this imbalance here, and it's so close to it that this is the target that I see. This is the target that I feel. I don't see anything up here. This is what I see. All right, so temporarily bearish on U.S. oil. Long-term bullish because of the war. All right, let's go ahead and look at gold. And gold has been moving strange. It hasn't been moving in accordance to the dollar. All right, this is gold against the U.S. dollar. But even as the U.S. dollar has been going up, the price of gold has been going up as well. We did meet some strong resistance here, though, in this daily sell zone. And so with my directional bias on the U.S. dollar being bullish, my directional bias on gold is bearish, of course. We already had these targets. We've had these targets for a couple of weeks now, and I think it's time for gold to start coming for them. It's looking like that. All right, this was a lot of momentum in this candle right here. So we got our swing high that formed. We got bearish momentum. We're coming from a higher time frame sell zone. I'm looking for sales on gold from the lower time frames. Next target being this low here. Let's see, maybe we don't come above, maybe we don't come back above this high here. All right, maybe this is the range that we're trading in, Dame. I believe that was Dame who asked about gold. Yeah, yep. Yeah, so maybe this is the range that we're trading in right here, Dame. This red line being the area that we stop selling, or, you know, where our stop loss is at. So we drop down to the lower time frame and we follow the institutional footprint. We can see where everything is reacting from, right? And so this red line would be the point where we would stop. And so this is the part where I start looking at the anatomy of the candlesticks. I start looking at the price action, where the opens and the closes were. Just to look at the movement. So I'm following everything. What was the last point? Oh, starts it. Boom. Okay. I would like to see a sell from this area. We got imbalance, and I would like to see a sell from here. See if we can get some confluence. That's 35. Oh yeah, that's a big figure level there. At 1935. 1935 even, Dame. That's where I'm seeing a reaction on gold, and I will be looking for a sell. All right, then we even got a little 15-minute sell zone in there too. But that's what I got for gold, Dame. I'm bearish on it, and I believe this will be an area that we get a reaction from, or an opportunity, an opportunity to sell. All right, but that wraps it up. That wraps it up for the analysis portion of this call. Let me go through the calls and make sure I didn't, or the comments, and make sure I didn't miss anything. We covered GU, gold. Javen's waiting. And Mr. Line says he can't wait to learn how to trade. That's what's up, and I can't wait. I can't wait to mentor him. I can't wait to mentor Jay. Let you know I got him. If you ain't got him already, James. All right, no problem, y'all. So AU. Letitia, what I'll do, I'll drop AU. I'll analyze AU and I'll drop that inside the chat. But no problem, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I hope everybody got value from the call. Remember, everything is hypothetical. if you are going to trade your live money off of anything you've seen on this call, you're doing it at your own risk, okay? But we do this every Monday at 8 p.m. Again, thank everybody for tuning in. I will keep everybody updated on the trades and, you know, the trade setups that we went over with EU. And I will see you all in the chats on the charts, and I will see some of you next week on Monday. All right, y'all. Peace.